Railways, they are an important part of our infrastructure, and while the number of highway rail crossing collisions, deaths, and injuries has dropped over the past 5 decades, there's still some more work to be done. John Fleps, Vice President and Chief Safety Officer for Norfolk Southern, is with us to talk more about rail safety. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, Amanda.
Absolutely. You know, when we look at some of the stats, it sounds like every 3 hours in the United States, a person is hit by a train, or a vehicle is hit by a train. That's probably something we never would have thought.
Yeah, it's one of those statistics that is well misunderstood, and safety around the railroad tracks is what we use this special week every year to really promote for public safety. And that message is: see tracks, think train. Always assume a train is coming, and never put yourself at risk by either trying to beat a train, trying to race across the tracks when you see the lights flashing, or using the tracks as your pathway on foot to get to where you're trying to go.
Yeah, I think everybody's always in a rush, and they see those lights start to flash and those arms start to come down and like, no, I'm late, I gotta be somewhere. But you know, these are life-saving tips for people. Say that statement again that you said.
Sure. So if you got a hankering for some Tony Pacos and you are in a hurry to get there, you see the gates starting to come down, it is in your best interest, I promise, to be patient, give it a couple of minutes, let the train get by, and you can get on about your business. Rail safety it's Norfolk Southern's obligation, but we also count on the public and the citizens of the communities where we operate to do their part to stay clear of the tracks. Because at the end of the day, a train can't stop before it gets to where you are. That's the reality, and it's a hazard that we really need the public to take to heart.
Yeah, you know, those trains can't just stop, you know, on a dime. So it takes quite a distance. But, you know, here in our area, I know in northwestern Ohio, trains in my neighborhood, I've got, you know, 10 crossings within, you know, a half a mile of my home. And every time I see a train come through, I think, hey, this is good though. You know, this is good for our economy. But locally, you know, how are we doing in terms of safety here in Northwest Ohio?
So Ohio it's in the top 10 states for railroad grade crossing accidents. It's one of the reasons is just density. There's a lot of business in Ohio and a lot of railroad tracks. We have hubs at 5 different major cities, and the more trains and the more crossings there are, the more opportunity there is for accidents and injuries to happen, which is why this message, See Tracks, Think Train, is so important, and taking it to the people that you care about. We're counting on you to help spread the message.
You know, but what if someone does come across an emergency happening? What is a critical sign that they should look for?
So you can always call 911, but there's a way to get to the people who can take action faster, and that's referencing, it's a little blue sign, it's called the ENS sign. It's mounted to every single crossing in America, and it has a phone number on it that's going to connect you with the railroad that operates the tracks at that crossing, and it's also going to give you a unique ID number that helps the dispatcher that you're talking to know exactly where you are, and gives them an opportunity to potentially stop a train before it gets there, so first responders can take care and ultimately provide for a safe removal of the vehicle or person that's there.
Wow, you know, how many times have we crossed train tracks? Never really thought about that little sign, but I'm so glad that you brought that to our attention, because unfortunately we just may never know when we might need that information. So we'll have to keep our eyes out, that little blue sign there. Now, you mentioned first responders. How do the thousands of first responders who work with the railroad, how are they trained every year to, you know, respond to these types of situations?
Yeah, so our relationship with first responders is so important to us. We have a program that trains over 5,000 first responders every year, free of charge, all across the network. That includes Northwest Ohio, Michigan, every state where we operate. We offer this training. It's something that we're passionate about, and the partnerships that we have with the fire departments, police officers in those communities is really important to us. So yeah, we provide that training free of charge.
It's good to know that you all are doing that. some big situations happen in Ohio. Of course, we think East Palestine, other big situations and emergencies that have been happening. So I think it's always good for the public to know, hey, you all are working with our first responders to handle these situations if an emergency were to happen. So yeah, a big week to get that message out, about railroad safety. Is there a place where people can go to learn more information?
Yes, there is. So check out the website for Operation Lifesaver. That's a nonprofit that is completely committed to awareness and messaging around public safety at railroad crossings and safety around the tracks in general. The website is oli.org, and they've got a lot of great resources, videos, statistics, talking points, posters, pamphlets, you name it, stuff that you could take to a classroom, you could take it to church with you, take it to the dinner table, have that conversation with your kids, the importance of rail safety. It's not a place to play, and it's incredibly dangerous. And ultimately, we're counting on you to help share the message and stay clear of the tracks.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for this information today. We appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me, Amanda.
Yeah, thank you. Take care.